Why is The Wasteland considered one of the most difficult poems in English literature?
Because Eliot uses multiple voices, languages, literary allusions, and fragmented imagery that make the poem complex. It reflects the brokenness of modern civilization after World War I.
What is the main theme of The Wasteland?
The central theme is spiritual decay and the loss of meaning in the modern world. Eliot portrays a society that has lost its moral and religious values.
Why did Eliot call it The Wasteland?
The title symbolizes a barren, lifeless world, physically, morally, and spiritually. It represents the emptiness of modern life.
What event inspired The Wasteland?
The poem was influenced by the devastation of World War I and Eliot's personal emotional crisis, representing the disillusionment of the entire generation.
When was The Wasteland published?
It was published in 1922, the same year as James Joyce's Ulysses, another great modernist work.
How many sections are in the poem?
The poem has 5 sections: the burial of the dead, a game of chess, the fire sermon, death by water, what the thunder said.
What does April is the cruelest month mean?
Unlike traditional poetry where April brings rebirth, Eliot sees it as cruel because it awakens painful memories and emotions in a spiritually dead world.
Who edited The Wasteland before publication?
Ezra Pound, Eliot's friend and fellow poet, edited and shortened the poem significantly. Eliot dedicated it to him as Il miglior fabbro, the better craftsman.
What myth forms the backbone of The Wasteland?
The Fisher King myth from Arthurian legend, symbolizing a wounded king and a barren land, both awaiting spiritual renewal.
What is the central conflict in The Wasteland?
The conflict between spiritual death and the longing for renewal. Humanity struggles to find meaning in a fragmented world.
What role does religion play in the poem?
Eliot contrasts the spiritual emptiness of modernity with lost religious faith, using Christian, Hindu, and Buddhist references to suggest possible redemption.
What does water symbolize in the poem?
Water has a double meaning. It can symbolize both death, drowning, and rebirth, rain, purification.
How does Eliot portray women in The Wasteland?
Women often appear trapped or degraded, such as the typist, Cleopatra-like lady, or Lil, representing moral decay and failed human relationships.
Why is the poem considered a cultural collage?
Because Eliot mixes different voices, myths, quotes, and languages, from Shakespeare and the Bible to Sanskrit, reflecting the cultural confusion of modern life.
What does the unreal city refer to? It symbolizes modern urban life, particularly London, filled with lifeless mechanical people, like ghosts moving through a dead city.
What does a heap of broken images mean? It represents the fragmented nature of modern civilization, where cultural and moral unity has collapsed.
Who is Tiresias and why is he important?
Tiresias, the blind prophet from Greek mythology, unites the male and female experiences in the poem and represents spiritual insight amid blindness.
What is the meaning of the line, "Fear in a handful of dust"?
It reflects the fragility of human life and the emptiness of existence without faith or meaning.
Why does Eliot use multiple languages in the poem?
To show the diversity and fragmentation of human culture. It also reflects Eliot's wide knowledge of literature and history.
Who are some of the main voices in the poem?
Voices include the narrator, Madame Sosostris, fortune-teller, Tiresias, the typist, the Fisher King, and others, showing different perspectives of modern despair.
Who is Madame Sosostris?
A parody of a fortune-teller who reads tarot cards, symbolizing fake spirituality and moral confusion.
What happens in A Game of Chess?
It depicts two contrasting scenes of failed relationships, one luxurious and artificial, the other poor and lifeless, showing moral decay across classes.
What does death by water symbolize?
It represents both literal drowning and spiritual cleansing, showing that renewal may come only through death and sacrifice.
What happens in the final section, What the Thunder Said?
It describes a desolate landscape after death and destruction, ending with hope through the Hindu mantra Shanti, 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 meaning peace.
What poetic form does Eliot use in The Wasteland?
He uses free verse with irregular rhythms, fragmented structure and shifting voices, typical of modernist poetry.
What are the major literary influences behind The Wasteland?
Influences include Dante, Shakespeare, the Bible, the Upanishads, and Jesse Weston's From Ritual to Romance.
What is Eliot's tone throughout the poem?
The tone shifts between despair, irony, and hope. Eliot captures both the horror and the faint possibility of renewal.
How does The Wasteland connect to Eliot's personal life?
Eliot wrote it during a time of mental breakdown and unhappy marriage. The poem mirrors his inner turmoil and quest for spiritual peace.
What message does Eliot give in the end?
Despite chaos and despair, peace can be found through understanding, faith, and spiritual awakening. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
How does The Wasteland reflect modernism?
It uses fragmentation, multiple voices, free verse, myth, and symbolism to show the chaos and alienation of the modern age, key features of literary modernism.
T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland is not just a poem, it's a mirror reflecting the disillusionment of the modern age. It invites readers to move from confusion to self-awareness, from despair to spiritual rebirth. If you found this helpful, share this video, subscribe to Essay Academy, and stay tuned for more literature explained simply and beautifully.